break down a really cool story about a massive leap in efficiency. We're talking about how a super tedious 5-minute task was totally transformed by automation, making it 10 times faster.
Seriously, just think about that for a second. Pick a task you do every day that takes, say, 5 minutes. Now, what if you could get that same exact task done perfectly in under 30 seconds? That's the kind of insane transformation we're diving into.
Okay, so to really get why the solution is so great, you first have to understand the problem. So let's set the scene and take a look at the sheer pain of the old, manual way of doing things. So, picture this. Our story is set in a manufacturing company's sales and customer service department, and this place is a high-pressure zone. You know, phones are constantly ringing, emails are just flooding in, and literally every single minute spent on admin work is a minute they're not spending helping a customer.
Yeah, this whole process probably looks painfully familiar to some of you. This was the daily grind for logging just one customer complaint. Open the email, hunt around for the key details and attachments, open a totally separate system, and then the soul-crushing copy and paste. This took a full 5 minutes, every single time.
And look, this wasn't just tedious. It had real-world consequences for the business. Response times were sluggish, which meant customers were just left hanging. And, humans make mistakes, so typos and transcription errors were bound to happen. All of this put them at risk of violating their service level agreements, their SLAs. So the big takeaway here is, this little 5-minute task was actually creating unhappy customers and totally burning out the staff.
All right, so that was the before picture. Kind of bleak, right? Let's flip the script and move on to the after. This is where we see a powerful solution emerge with automation as the big catalyst for change.
And here's that transformation side by side. I mean, the difference is just night and day. The process went from being totally manual and full of potential errors to being automated and 100% accurate. It's the difference between constantly playing catch-up and finally getting ahead of the game.
So you might be asking, how is this even possible? Well, the magic behind it is something called Robotic Process Automation, or RPA from ZAPTEST. The easiest way to think about it is like this. They're AI-driven software bots. They use what's called computer vision to literally look at a screen, an email, a PDF, whatever, and understand it just like a person would. Only they do it at lightning speed, and they never, ever get tired.
So here's what those bots are actually doing, step by step. They're basically living inside the system, just watching Outlook for those complaint emails. The second one arrives, a bot grabs it, reads everything, pulls out all the key data, automatically opens up the ticketing system, fills in all the fields, and even runs checks to make sure no information is missing. That entire 5-step manual nightmare? Yeah, it's now handled completely by software, from start to finish.
Now for the best part, the results. Because, it's one thing to say something is faster, but let's look at the hard numbers. Let's quantify just how incredible this transformation really was.
I mean, just look at this. This is the headline right here. The task that took a trained human being 5 minutes to do now takes an automated bot less than 30 seconds. That's not just an improvement, folks. That is a complete game changer.
And that incredible speed had a direct impact on the customer experience. With tickets getting created instantly, response times improved by over 90%. Customers weren't left waiting around for hours anymore. They were getting an acknowledgement almost immediately.
Now think about this one for a second. Not fewer errors, 0. By taking the manual copy and paste out of the equation, the company wiped out an entire category of human error. The data going into their system is now perfectly clean every single time.
And of course, here's the bottom line for the business. All that time saved, all those errors eliminated, all that new efficiency, it all added up to a 10-fold return on their investment. For every dollar they put into this automation, they got $10 of value right back.
But the impact went way beyond just the numbers on a spreadsheet. The goal was never to replace people. It was to free them up. The customer service team could finally stop being data entry clerks and start focusing on what they were actually hired to do: solve complex customer problems and build real relationships.
So, as we wrap this up, I'm going to leave you with this question. After seeing how a simple 5-minute task was completely revolutionized, what's the bottleneck that's hiding in your own workflow? What's that repetitive task that if you automated it, could unlock this kind of incredible value for you and your team?